radio?
Nothing. Same thing on TV. Cooking Channel, Cartoon Network. It's the same thing. The same word over and over again.
I heard it started on the East Coast. Went airborne, took over media, radio, TV.
Deflategate, 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 Deflategate,
They're still talking about it. They're gonna hear us.
We gotta make a run for it.
Go.
This is an emergency bulletin from the president of the National Football League.
My fellow football fans, a terrible epidemic has swept across our proud nation. On TVs, radios, Twitter, and in homes everywhere, people cannot stop talking about Deflategate. But we have the antidote to wipe out Deflategate. I have suspended Cam Newton 10 games for cooking on a non-league approved hot plate during an interview.
It's finally over.
I don't know a lot about sports, but I can drink a lot of beer.
My motto is simple. C's get degrees.
Need a long, inappropriate hug? I'm your man.
I think I'm smarter than you, because I probably am.
Howard Coward for box score.
Hello and welcome to the Box Score. I'm Brock in Los Angeles. They are the Danettes in Milford, Connecticut. Guys, sports are obviously important, but our daily struggle against giving into the soul-crushing bastard known as old age is more important. And after watching Sunday's MTV Music Video Awards, a lot of us are in old guy denial. Seton, what band has made you feel the oldest after seeing or hearing them?
You know, I can't say that one particular band has made me feel old, but the whole like Skrillex, whatever that sort of like electronic music is, whose name I can't think of.
EDM.
Dubstep. Dubstep makes me feel old. It's like the first time I ever thought like I definitely don't get this. I have no idea what these kids are listening to, and it really just sounds like a bunch of rubbish. Kids.
Indeed.
Dubstep.
Well, fellow DP old man McLovin has had just about enough of this stuff and had something to say about it.
I'm old enough. I remember there were actual instruments when the bands were playing. You know, they actually had guitars and stuff like that. What happened to that?
That's an old guy line right there.
We're so old.
Yeah, you expect them to play their own music?
Yeah. I mean, I expected them to actually use a piano or guitar, not a Macintosh, to actually write a song. Yeah, get off my lawn.
I got some heated tweets. Somebody wrote back saying, you'd be surprised at the brilliant things they're doing in those MacBooks. The fact that I said Macintosh also dated me about 35 years. I'm like, yeah, when they put their Macintosh and plop that big thing down there, yeah, I don't get it. How did we become so old so fast? Like, but then again, when I was 20, I think I still liked the same kind of music I like now. So it's not just
that's
old.
Typical old guy.
Oh, it is?
Music was good. Like when you were 20, you like the same music that you like now when you're 20. That's an old guy move. Mm-hmm.
Got
you know what? Everything after like 1995 sucks. You know, it's like, yeah, that's such an old guy thing to say. Just like old guys now said that back.
And not being familiar with like a lot of the musicians when you used to be more up on it. At least for me, I never heard of a number of them. And then all of a sudden, if you hear the music in the car, or even when you're watching it last night, and it seems a little too loud or off-putting, it definitely makes you feel like you're closing in on 50 years old.
Paulie, very similar kind of old guy feeling when you see a son of a player that we watch in the pros or one of these current guys retiring. What player that you've seen lately made you feel the oldest?
Just last night I was watching, the other day I was watching the Saints, and Dalton Hilliard's nephew is playing running back. Like, Dalton Hilliard, I was like 15 when he was in his peak in the pros. Like, oh yeah, 15 was a lot of freaking years ago. I think like 15 was 20 years ago, and all of a sudden your math doesn't match up with what your actual age is. I'm like, wait, 15 plus 20 is 35. I'm not 35. I'm not even close to 35. So it's like the math doesn't match, you know. And when you look in the mirror, you don't see the number either. You just see the yourself as whatever kind of your casual 20-year-old age. But then you do things like you say things to your kid like, hey, watch where you're going by the pool, don't step on, and then you're like, what am I doing? Just let him run around.
And you're hearing things that your parents used to say to you,
Always.
coming out of your mouth to your kids, things that
Mm-hmm.
you thought you'd never ever say, you're saying like regularly.
I was once with my family at a thing. I think I've told this story before, but we were sort of in like the person who was like leading this meeting was going around the room like, all right, everybody give their age, right? And it was like they asked like my brother, and whatever. It's like 42, 50, whatever, this, that. The guy got to me, and I was like 23. Just like blurted out of my mouth, and my mom looked at me and she's like, "What the hell's wrong with you? You're 33, not 23. Like what? You don't know how old you are?"
Yeah.
And it just in my head, yeah, I don't know. For some reason, 23 came out, and I guess that's where my mind is.
Yeah. My wife asked me the other day. She goes, "What do you want to do for your birthday?" I'm like, "Not have one. That's all. I mean, if you want to make some chocolate cake, that'd be great. But otherwise, if you could somehow make it through the day without mentioning it, that'd be fantastic."
You want to believe we're still like in college, or only a few years removed from college, and not that we're like, 10, 15, 20 years past that.
When I was in college, I remember these two dudes came down, and they were like, they're probably 26, I would say, 27, and I was 18. I remember meeting them, and they seemed like they were 50. Like their hair was going a little bit, and they wore like crisp sweaters with nice, sensible slacks. And I guarantee these guys were not even 30 years old. I remember their names. I remember their faces. I remember talking to them. I'm like, God, they seem so old. And I go, when did you guys graduate? They're like, oh, we graduated about 6 years ago. I'm like, 6 years, 21. So you're about 27, and I thought they were 1,000.
Yeah. It's like that show 40-something, man. Those people might as well have been 80.
Yeah.
And now you're like,
And you think that's so far away. You're like, that's a long.
He's a good role model. Dan doesn't care about his age at all. He's always trying to get hipper music, hipper shows, he's totally like immaturity, I guess is the word. Because I'm like, I ascribe to be
It's
like.
tough to be that guy though, too. Though it's a fine line.
He does it well though. He does it really well. No, but he sort of couches it. My daughters, but he's totally trying to find out what the cool music is. I like that. I mean, it's cool. Like, I hope I'm not gonna. I was thinking about that. I'm not gonna try and stop being cool because I was never that cool to start with. I don't really have that far to go down.
Well, every weekend I'm driving my car and I'll put on like the college channel on Sirius or different music. I listen to something every week. I say, I'm gonna go and tell Seton what I listened to this weekend. Like the Bo Wrangles brothers. God dang it! All right, sure. I'll just put Nirvana back on.
Yeah.
Crap.
Well, Fritzy, you in particular seem to
too
be
old for the club.
Fritzy, you seem ever stuck back in the past as far as pop culture. Did something happen in the late 80s or 90s to never make you want to get into new music or movies?
I think part of it is just I really like that music. I think part of it could very well be subconsciously that I wish I was stuck in that era, and I'm just in denial that you're in your mid-40s and you wish that you were sowing some more oats and you were back chasing the cheerleaders in high school and you were back in college, and I've talked about this a number of times. I went to NYU and I lived in Brooklyn, so I didn't get the living away dorm life kind of thing. So there's probably more to it than just preferring that music from the 80s and 90s. Part of me, wishes I could have a do-over and experience some of the things that I didn't get a chance to do or allow myself to do.
Try to bring chicks home on the D train. Like
It's very hard
1 in the morning, say, want to go back to mom's crib on the D.
Yeah.
I'll pick up the
two transfers.
You gotta keep the door
At a
open.
bus.
Just, Mom wants to know what you're doing in there.
Well, you said chasing cheerleaders. You meant metaphorically, right?
Not even chasing cheerleaders.
Yes, of course. Well, we were trying to decide whether or not you guys were old, so we went back and made a montage from the first hour to see. Let's watch.
We admit it, we're old. Are you a rap fan?
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, then you would love this play, Hamilton, that I saw about Alexander Hamilton.
Dude, it's an oyster place. If you go from 4 to 6 on a weeknight, you get 8 oysters, an 18-ounce Guinness, and there's something else delicious in there for $18.
Do you see where Keith Richards has his solo album out? How cool is that? The dude's in his mid-70s. Get off my lawn. Remember when I went to see Gats, the 8-hour play? Now, this is about the Great Gatsby. We're not going to be around in 10
See, that's kind of young.
What?
Wow, there is a lot of old going on there. My goodness. All right, maybe you need to jump in a pool like they did in Cocoon. All right, stick around. The NFL has started, but the drama is in mid-season form. Want to feel like a champion? Hey, hop in the driver's seat of a Ram 1500 Eco Diesel. Climb a hill, haul a trailer, and if I won a Super Bowl MVP, I want Dan to hand me these keys on the podium. Get more facts at ramtrucks.com. Guts, glory, Ram. Back here on the box score, guys, a pair of quarterbacks are in the news today. We will start with Robert Griffin III, who is apparently being shopped by Washington. McLovin, does he have a legit future in the league?
I think so. I'm a big RG3 fan. I think in the right system, he'd be better off. I thought that's a terrible fit with Jake Gruden. So you get him in the right team, gets his confidence back, his health back. I think he could be a starting quarterback.
I think you may be right. Well, RG3's a former teammate and tight end Chris Cooley called in to talk about how we got to this point.
I went back this year and watched a lot of the 2012 film, and Robert was a different player. He anticipated throws. He felt confident in the pocket. He moved and eluded rushers more than I've ever seen him in the last couple of years. And to me, it's almost a lack of confidence in the pocket. It's playing somewhat timid. It's maybe potentially, even if it's subconscious, a fear of throwing interceptions or making bad throws. You wonder what happened. I mean, it's almost the same as like Tiger Woods is so great, and then now all of a sudden he's so bad. It's a strange phenomenon of sports.
Yeah, it's ironic. Just a week or so ago, we were, bashing him for saying something that he said was taken a little out of context, and he had to backtrack a little bit about considering himself the best quarterback in the NFL. Now we're all worried about how he's lost his confidence and what happened to the 2012, guy that played so great as a rookie, and he lost his way somehow over the last couple of years. So, I agree with McLovin. I think there's a place for him. Obviously, it doesn't look like it's going to be in Washington D.C. But he seems to think, unless he's fooling himself, that he's a top quarterback and has all the tools that he needs. But everyone else around him is, I guess, trying to convince him that he's got no confidence left.
Well, the other quarterback we'll be obsessing over all week is Tom Brady, who is back in court over Deflategate. Now, Paulie, is this more about Tom Brady and a football, or all the power a commissioner can have?
They're both the long-term effects of this story. However this story shakes out, Tom Brady will either be branded a cheater factually or not forever, and the NFL's punishment power will be in question. I think the NFL's punishment power is already done as a topic. I think they've lost it. If I were completely guilty of some type of infraction in the NFL as a player, I would completely appeal it and go after the commissioner in the process. It's almost like it's like if a cop gets in trouble for planting evidence, and that cop going forward can never bust anybody up again because they could always say like, "Hey man, they didn't give me due process. They tweaked the evidence." I'm telling you, the new plan, if I was ever an NFL player in trouble, I would go completely after the commissioner in his office, whether I was guilty or not.
That's why this is so important, though, because and why the NFL is fighting for it so hard, especially with commissioners, because they want to set the precedent of like a judge saying the CBA and everything that it contains is legally valid.
And you know what sucks about it? They're trying to set this precedent and set their this, but they're also messing with the dude's legacy over a really dumb rule and a really light infraction. If he's completely guilty, I think it's a light infraction and a dumb rule. But they're gonna, to make their point, they're gonna make an example of the good, the pretty boy. And I rarely feel sorry for a guy like Tom Brady because he has everything. But to be called a cheater when you're really not is gotta really suck.
See, and these are the formative years of your son. Have you sat him down and explained Deflategate to him so he doesn't get the wrong idea about it when he hears about it on the playground?
Oh, absolutely. If you ask my son about Deflategate or Tom Brady, he'll tell you about what a terrible person Roger Goodell is. He absolutely will. Yeah, we've got him well on the way. But we did explain to him that some people accused Tom of cheating, and we don't believe that he did cheat. And so we sort of told him what side we're on, and he was like, "Yeah, good. Screw the Shield."
Did you teach him, like, if he ever gets in trouble, to not admit what he did and go after his accusers?
No, we told him to be honest at all times, just like Thomas. And if you didn't do anything wrong, there's nothing to be ashamed of or hide. So.
Kian, wise lessons from your very wise father. All right, stick around with us. We are going to battle over some headlines next. Welcome back to the box score, guys. With football season knocking on the door, it's not a surprise maybe you took the weekend off from watching wire-to-wire sports to get to know the family or whoever the hell's walking around your house. If you missed the headlines, we got you covered. It's time for
Bog Headline Battle Royale.
I'll give you a headline, you give me a mock headline. First one up, Japan defeats Pennsylvania to take their 4th Little League title in 6 years. Let's start in the back row with McLovin.
Careful.
Question mark?
Remember Lost in Translation? That movie with Bill Murray and Scarlett Johansson set in Japan? Well, this movie is more like just flat out Lost.
Okay.
There's the applause.
Lost.
Wow.
Paulie.
Japanesey win. U.S. loses Little League World Series. Japanesey.
Yeah. Land of the rising sun. Fritzy, what do you got?
Japandemonium. I've used that one before, but it's good for the environment to recycle.
Okay.
Okay. Always thoughtful and conscientious. Seton, what do you have?
Want to get sushi for lunch today? Sure, I'll have a Pennsylvania roll. Huh, never heard of it. What's that? Oh, it's a group of terrible Americans who embarrass their country and should never play baseball ever again. Oh, that sounds good. I'll have that too.
Wow.
Kids.
Oh, big anti-sushi settlement?
Yeah, a lot of Amish people shaking their hands at the television right now, I'm sure. All right, second headline. Jason Day takes the FedEx Cup lead with a win at the Barclays. Front row, Paulie.
Jason Day wins the Barclays. I'll see what you did there. I'll see.
He's from Australia.
I think he's from Australia.
He better not be from New Zealand.
Because our Melbourne affiliate right now is like.
Hey, what's going on there? All right, Fritzy.
Not mailing it in at FedEx, Day's Barkley just as bad as his bite.
Bark.
Barkley's.
A smattering. Seton, your headline, please.
Smattering.
Oh, this is awful. Hey, Jason Day, way to play at Barclay. How much did that pay? Did you celebrate with a fillet and some spinach to saute? Park your car in valet? Get burned from the sun's rays? Did Tiger go away? Is your hair a toupee? Cigarettes in an ashtray?
Eminem did that would crush.
See, it's all rhymes on day.
Poetry slam, y'all. Poetry slam. All right, McLovin.
King for a day, or is it day for a king? Who cares? How'd Tiger do with this thing?
Our third headline, the Dodgers get no hit for the second time in 10 days. Fritzy, let's start with you.
Los Angeles, the Blue can't find their way at the plate.
Lost.
How about that?
Oh.
Dodgers fans.
Wow.
Yeah,
Angry
Dodgers
Dodger
fans.
LA slant there. Seton, you're next.
No sh**. Los Angeles, taking name literally, refused to hit pitches, play crappy. See, they're Dodgers. They're
Scatological. All right, McLovin.
Hear about the drought in California? Now it's more than rain. It's runs. But if I could take a moment, Brock. I think this drought is a serious issue, and I think that we all ought to play our part, maybe take shorter showers, do whatever you can.
Don't water the lawn.
We can do this together. Thank you.
Special comment.
All right. Then I guarantee this won't be water. All right, we got another headline here. Let's see here. Oh, finally, our last headline. According to reports, the Redskins
Can I do my Dodgers one?
Oh, I'm sorry. Paulie.
Vin Scully returning to Dodgers in 2016. Hopes to see a base hit.
Star.
Yeah, a little.
Elysian snark.
Probably should have left that one on the cutting room floor there, Paul.
Vin Scully tribute.
I'm sorry, I got ahead of myself.
Snark.
Dehydrated. Finally, our last headline. According to reports, the Redskins have been trying to trade Robert Griffin III. Front row, Seton.
RGC, Washington changing offensive name. No, not that one. Their quarterback. See, offensive name.
Political statement. I don't know what's wrong with that one.
Makes sense.
Super meanie pants today. Fritzy.
RG free. Time to let Robert Griffith Jr. III go.
Oh, yeah. Robert Griffith Jr. III.
That's him. Who are we up at? Paulie.
Jeez.
Let's call him Joe Beisman. Outgoing RG3 doesn't compare to Super Bowl winning quarterback. That's it. I was going to go elsewhere, but I still.
A lot going on there.
Joe Beisman.
Yeah.
Joe Beisman.
I like Joe Beisman.
And finally, McLovin.
What's more messed up in Washington? The Redskins or Congress?
Hey,
you know what I'm saying? Hey. What's more messed up there?
Not since Mark Russell. All right. Seton is our winner of our mock headline championship belt. So congratulations.
Whoa. Jason Day. What do you
There's 2
say?
days fresh off his appearance, and his hair has been cropped. Good for him. Congratulations. All right, this is the box score, and we are taking a break to remind you that the Ram Heavy Duty, with its best-in-class towing, torque, and horsepower, does not need a break. It continues on and on and on, like these headlines. This headline just in: Guts, Glory, Ram. The box score presents great moments in DP show history.
Oh, here it is! Here it is! Yes! Yes! Yes!
Thanks for watching Great Moments in DP Show History.
We're closing up shop here at the box score. Guys, Brian Harmon made 2 holes in 1 at the Barclays this weekend. And went into the clubhouse and bought the entire group a drink, beers, and a bottle of Crown Royal. Seton, what's the biggest bar tab you've ever had to pay?
Jeepers creepers, I have no idea. Probably a couple $100, I guess. I'm assuming we're not talking work dinners, but yeah, it's been, I don't know, probably not that. I'm a quantity, not quality guy, so that usually lowers the bar, believe it or not. While it's a lot of drinks, you don't have to pay very much for them.
There you go. Keep it cheap with the $1 cans. All right, well, Harmon was shaking off a bit of a hangover last night when he called in and talked about his expensive accomplishment.
I wouldn't wish my bar tab on my worst enemy.
All right. Give me the bar tab. Give me the damage here.
I wanted to send all the media guys beers. And I thought I was going to get the discount price, buying bulk. Well, 300 beers and a bottle of Crown, I think, cost me upwards of $3,000. So it was not a good start to my afternoon.
That's looking at the markup. That's about $10 a beer. If you think about it, a case of beer should be about. It costs them about $8 for a case of beer. So they're charging 24 bottles of beer that cost a company 33 cents. They're charging $10 for it. That's the markup on beer. You go to a place like that. Yeah, that's pretty cool. I'm glad we got him on because what this guy never has any level of fame again. He had one little cool moment, and I'm sure he's got a nice career. He plays golf for a living and gets paid to do it. He can afford a $3,000 bar tab.
Yeah, $5.2 million career earning, I saw.
Yeah, so
ranked 60th.
But these are the guys we don't hear about. These are the guys who are just muddling along, and like a nice 15th place finish. We think, wow, 15, that's not in the money. No, it is actually quite in the money.
Yeah.
You don't have to win anything to have a great career in
That's
golf.
a good life if you're good enough.
And you're not even factoring sponsorship. Every one of these guys, no matter what level is sponsored, because what if they become great? All these guys, once they make the tour, get some level of sponsorship, and you want to stay in the tour as long as possible.
Now, Fritzy, you're going to be having an open bar at your son's bar mitzvah, which is a classy move. Now, will you sit Dan close to the bar so he won't complain, or away from the bar so he won't put you in the poorhouse?
He'll probably be somewhere close enough to the bar. He appreciates fine wines and beers, and hopefully we'll have the right things. I don't have a strong knowledge in that, but we have experts that'll hopefully figure out what exactly.
May I ask a question? I know very little about bar mitzvahs. I've been to one in my life. It was a pretty extravagant affair from what I saw. Similar to a wedding.
Very similar.
Very similar. Almost more so, though, I think. What did you guess? And if we guessed closest to the hole, the tab for the day, you don't have to give it out.
For the entire bar mitzvah?
Yeah, wire to wire.
The numbers aren't in yet, but it's...
you don't have to give it out because that's your personal information. Yeah. But like if I said $5,000, you'd be laughing at me, right?
Yeah, that would be way low.
Yeah.
Way low.
As crazy as that sounds.
I actually have a lot of questions. I've never been to a bar mitzvah.
Let's ask.
Well, judging by the invitation that we got, which was beautiful.
Extravagant.
Yeah. It looks like it's an all-day affair. Is that accurate?
You got the service that's in the morning from 10 to noonish or so, and then there's what they call a kiddish, where there's going to be all kinds of bagels and pastries and food and drink that's immediately following it at the temple. Within the temple, they have a nice room set up to do that.
The kiddish
room. And then after then you have a few hours to unwind and go about your business, do whatever.
So we're supposed to then we go home.
You go,
and then we go back.
Some people will go home. Some people that flew in, got a hotel or whatever. But there'll be a few hours to kill in the afternoon, and then there's a party all evening long from 6:30.
Now, are Jews and Gentiles allowed to attend the entire day affair?
They're required to.
Yes.
What does that mean, required?
You're invited. You have to go.
Not required.
Because in the invitation it says, "Let us know if you're attending the morning session, the afternoon session, or the evening session."
Right. You do have the option of if for some reason you can't make the service where Jordan's actually going to be reading his Haftorah and be in the synagogue, becoming a bar mitzvah, as we say, and you can only come or you only want to come to the affair at night. That is everyone's prerogative. Ideally, the people closest to me, without making anyone feel guilty, it would be ideal.
No, that's not gonna make us feel guilty.
It would be ideal to see everybody at the temple, seeing Jordan read his part of the Torah, and of course be at the party, which is the big deal, Saturday night, October 3rd.
All right, very good. Fritzy, who's on tomorrow?
We will talk to Colts quarterback Andrew Luck and Fox Sports lead college football analyst Joel Klatt. Will get us ready for the college football season.
Fantabulous.
No disrespect to North Dakota State and Montana.
Yeah, none taken. All right, we are back tomorrow at 3 p.m. Eastern right here on Audience Channel 239. The podcast is available on iTunes or at podcast1.com. I'll save the drought here.
I don't know a lot about sports, but I can drink a lot of beer.
My motto is simple. C's get degrees.
Need a long, inappropriate hug? I'm your man.
I think I'm smarter than you because I probably am.
Hey, thanks for watching the box score. Holy cow!